Hello everyone, Henry here. Hope you are doing well. With the rework of Legion, we get an amazing opportunity to freshen up base Unix with some interesting properties. Today I want to discuss some ideas and speculations I came up with on powerful and exciting items and combinations. How it works? We get an enshrouding crystal on an appropriate unique item and put it in a crystal in the domain of timeless conflict. After killing enough monsters, you will get a random unique bag, but with an implicit containing the donor item's modifier. The resulting item is chosen from a pool of base unique items. It cannot be a boss drop or unique source item like Temple of Atzoatl or Heist. Also, resulting items are most likely weighted following tiers of their rarity. You cannot expect to get tier 2 items like Aegis Aurora or Kaun's Heart on every encounter. These items no doubt will be powerful, but definitely are chase uniques. Note, almost nothing of it is confirmed and might be completely different from what we see in the game, either in terms of modifiers or their numbers. It is all speculations. I repeat, speculations. Let's start with body armors. Firstly, I will begin with generic powerful items, which mods will not break any resulting unique and will make them better. Starting with Karam's Heart, life is good, more life is better. Even though it is going to be only 250 life, it is still a great amount to get on some uniques. Diala's Malefaction will most likely make all gems get 10% quality regardless of socket colors, so you can ignore coloring your armor completely, which can be very advantageous when you use a lot of off-color gems. This item is also a great target for many other modifiers, but it is a tier 1 item, so you'd be lucky to see it drop in Legion more than once across the league. The rest is Defiance. Effective Onslaught is a unique rare stat, and its modifier can be read as 20% attack speed, 20% cast speed, and 20% movement speed. This effect is as powerful as Silver Flask paired with Mage Blood. Impulse's Broken Heart. Yes, it sounds just as broken. A 100% chance to explode shocked enemies makes it a premium mod to get. Cloak of Flame. As we have been shown, the amount of physical damage taken as high is going to be 20%, but it is still a great tool for physical damage mitigation, especially on something like Lightning Coil. Speaking of which, the conversion is probably going to be 20% as well, but it is amazing nevertheless. The Brass Dome. Either maximum elemental resistances or no extra damage taken from critical strikes are powerful and will help your character to stay alive. These modifiers are much stronger than their corruption versions. Replica Shroud of the Lightless. We don't know if we get all 6 sockets, but even a couple of those are going to be a significant power increase for two-handed weapon builds or the square builds. Regular Shroud of Lightless. I hope that elemental penetration modifier is going to be a vestigial one. Most builds use multiple Abyss Jewels anyway, so it's a generically strong option. Value of the Beast. Just like Kaum's Heart, life is important to stay alive. And 40% is a great amount equal to 2 passive skill tree clusters. Doppelganger's Guise, both sane and insane modifiers are amazing to get, and this item is already used for one modifier primarily, which is less physical and chaos damage taken. Now to some specific items and mod combinations. Cloak of Flame, a unique that every Righteous Fire or Castwind Stand player knows and likes. Obvious choices would be Kaun's Heart or Belly of the Beast, as more life, more tank, more AFK ultimatums or simulacrums. Lightning Coil is also a great option. It would be nice to get maximum resistances from Brass Dome too. Unfortunately, extra critical damage mod is irrelevant for Castwind Stand characters as they get stun mastery to not get crit anyway. Gap of the Ephemeral is one that I'm not too sure about, but if we get nearby enemies cannot deal critical strikes, it will allow us to skip said mastery aside from off-screen damage. As a tier 3 unique, it is somewhat common, but will require some farm. Fogshade is an unexpected discovery for me. This unique is a surprisingly great target to get the Apostate mod too, granted it is not reduced in power. All that because of the synergy with Covard's Chains. You count on full life while you are cursed with vulnerability, which is often used with conjunction with a Chaos Bloodline to make Dissolution of the Flesh not feel miserable. And more evasion and movement speed will definitely help with that as well. It is a tier 4 unique, so it should be somewhat reasonable to get. Incandescent Heart and Fourth Vow. The fourth vow is often used with Divine Flesh Keystone to greatly mitigate elemental damage via converting it to Chaos and then applying armor to it. But Incandescent Heart is going to bring it to another level. 25% additional conversion, no downside of physical damage bypassing energy shield, and a whole lot of other useful stats. Even base, armor and energy shield are higher. Incandescent Heart is a tier 3 unique, you will need some time to get it. This is, I think, is a big one. The Iron Fortress is bread and butter for strength stackers. It offers a ton of damage but lacks defenses. With some uniques it can be helped. Belly of the Beast can be used to scale all that flat life from strength even further. Fogshade is also good because of how certain skills work. For example, Mortal Strike of Zenith is known for spamming hundreds of projectiles per second and they will recover life to maximum nearly in an instant. Also, the build runs Divine Shield, so Energy Shield helps with that too. This way, a character is nearly always on full life. Another weakness of the build is Chaos damage, and 4th WoW covers that. And Joffrey's Sanctuary for some energy shield scaling. At 3000 strength it gives 1200 flat energy shield, which is more than endgame Sacred Chainmail, but it still loses in terms of defenses to rare body armor. Another option is Venomous Shroud, which has some interesting mods empowering aspect of the spider. Taking less damage or reducing monsters' chaos resistance is a potent addition. The Iron Fortress is tier 2, so it's rare. Calm's Hut is another premium target for the Apostate, bringing life stacking to another level. But honestly, the Apostate mod will be better on almost any other body armor. A life regen from Gruthos Belt is an astonishing bonus for Righteous Fire builds, and it is another tier 2 item. Do you notice a pattern? The Covenant, yet another tier 2 item one can only dream about getting Vestigial mod on. If you happen to get chance to poison support from Dendrobate, it will be an amazing addition for any poison minion builds. And elemental damage as extra chaos from Vis Mortis for poison SRS? Maybe? Probably? Ivory Tower. Everyone who played with this item knows how sometimes it is annoying to use or maintain coruscating elixir. Well, with chaos damage taken does not bypass energy shield modifier from Chevron's wrappings, you can forget about this annoying part of the build. Then we have two Calm's Hearts, first for energy shield stacking, second is for Mana Man. Lastly, both Belly of the Beast and Joffrey Sanctuary will help scaling energy shield too. Another option I should mention is Ghost Wreath. It is not good. Because of how conversion works, it is better at base numbers of 30 energy shield per 100 reserved life, but even with 8% explicit effect enchantment, conversion makes it worse compared to regular 32 energy shield per 100 life Ivory Tower. So don't do that. And Ivory Tower is tier 3 unique item, reasonable to get. The next unique is the Red Cage, definitely not the one you would expect. But when merged with Queen of the Forest, it becomes a great high body armor, 40% increased movement speed compared to just Queen of the Forest. And it is also a tier 3 unique. Next go Helmet. Just like with Armours, I will mention generic good donor items first and then interesting combinations later. Crest of Desire undoubtedly has the most powerful individual modifiers. One can only hope if they are not reduced in power when vestiged. Abyssal sockets from Brayflood are great, a potential to get from 1 to 4 of them is just amazing. Sudden Dawn has one of the unique ways to kickstart energy shield recharge. Pair it with the Breathing Jar Flask and Wicked Ward Keystone and you can recharge your energy shield on demand. Or you can recharge life too. Wilma's Requital has a unique ability to convert cast speed into attack speed, but it comes with the downside of having Ancestral Bond on it. So getting rid of the latter is going to open a lot of possibilities, especially since you can double dip attack speed from Onslaught and Adrenaline. Replica Veil of the Night has increased resistance modifier. It's a very rare one and just as powerful, but it comes with an absurd downside. Can be very exciting for armor stackers. Next few items would benefit a lot from just transferring their unique modifiers to other items and avoiding downsides or getting some nice baseline stats. Speaking of armor stackers, the Formless Flame has armor is increased by overcapped fire resistance modifier. Sadly, other than this, the helmet does not have anything too great on it. And minus 35 resistance doesn't help either. Echoes of Creation is also strong especially on slam builds, but hard to use because of the massive physical hit when you exert too much. Cannot deal critical strikes with attacks on Standstone Visage exists to disable casts on crit, but without it, the dream might be alive. Another amazing mod with a terrible downside on Cardigan's Crown, which was only usable for damage over time builds, hopefully not anymore. Now to the interesting combinations. Crown of Ice is a build enabling unique. You can either complement the strength stacking with obscuranties and its additional damage scaling, or explore venues of spending a lot of mana for a lot of damage with Indigon. Another option, which is appealing to strength stacking, is Aber's Unification's Void Gaze. It is a trigger debuff that applies minus 20% chaos resistance to enemies in a cone in front of the character. Crown of Ice is a tier 3 unique, so it might be rare, but not too rare. Joffrey's Crest is a known item that Holy Relic players use, but to be able to benefit from both Crest and the Dark Monarch is a huge opportunity. With this combination and Congregation support, it might be possible to reach 8 Holy Relics of Conviction. On a quick note, same goes for the Baron. Lots of zombies. Another option would be already mentioned Aber's Unification. Reducing chaos resistance of enemies on a poison build is one of few ways to increase damage. Crown of the Tyrant is a weaker version of it. Maybe with 4 white socket version would be interesting enough to use. Both the Baron and Joffrey's Crest are tier 4 uniques, should be relatively common and reliable to acquire. Kitava's First is a famous Archmage for a snow item, but it does not have much interesting going on aside from the trigger. Replica Hit Shiva can add up to 25% lightning damage as extra cold or even more with shock effect. On the other hand, Indigon can increase the damage significantly as Archmage builds spend a lot of mana. The Vertex can be used if the spend is going too crazy, and it is one of the very few options to get less mana costs we have left. Tier 4 unique, it is easy to drop as well. For boots, there are few crazy options, most are generically good, but still worth looking into. Windscream, an additional curse on a possibly better pair of boots would be amazing. Lots of build annoyed Whispers of Doom notable exactly for this. Calm's Roots will allow you to feel like a juggernaut, become unstoppable. 7 League Step, the item speaks for itself, you are going to run much faster, especially if you roll it onto Calm's Roots. The Stampede and its replica brother, one of them is confirmed to transfer a movement speed modifier, enabling much faster Cyclone playstyle, or just get it on Calm's Roots. Ralaker's Impatience would be good even if it had no other mods but charges and movement speed, but now we can move it possibly. Voidwalker boots offer interesting projectile mechanics, but rerolling replica avoids a significant downside too. Warana's Match is quite interesting. Previously we were unable to scare Arbalists, aside from the modifier on the item, but now we might. Keep an eye on it. As a powerful example, Match of the Legion is already a strong option for either mines or armor stackers. To be able to solve action speed debuffs or to have permanent charges improves quality of life greatly. Next one is quite speculative. Bubonic Trail has an interesting skill, Death Walk, that explodes corpse you walk on. But what if one of your steps creates a corpse and another explodes it, and with 4 possible support gems too? And next we have Gloves. Every modifier on Shaper's Touch is a unique, and if we can transfer any of them, it would be extremely useful. The Caged Mammoth has a massive survivability increase for a price of requirement to invest into both maximum rage and rage generation. Move the mod and you get very consistent and high damage reduction. The trifecta of Volku Guidance can allow to play elemental poison builds while not being an assassin or suffering a huge downside of 50% less poison duration. Abhorrent Interrogation has always been in a weird spot. It would require either great reduction of enemies' resistances or inversion. An ignore or penetration option now may be possible. I should also mention notable target glows that will become better with any modifiers on them. Flesh and Spirit, Null and Void, Shadows and Dust. All these rampage glows will make your mapping experience much better. Another example that is quite outstanding is an accuracy per intelligence modifier from Shaper's Touch moved onto Oscarm. Accuracy stacker builds often struggle to cap critical strike chance, but with the amount of accuracy they are getting, it should not be a problem. The Oscarm is a tier 4 unique, quite common. The downside might be is a Shaper's Touch mod gamble, which is 1 in 6. Last but not least are shields. Unfortunately, most of base drop pool shields are far from being interesting, and the ones that are somewhat interesting to get as a result are Aegis Aurora and Wrathpith Globe. Both are powerful as they are, but will only get better with additional mods. Unfortunately, they are both tier 2 items, so do not expect it. Cult and Halt and Rise of the Phoenix are good targets too, especially for melding of the flash builds. For powerful modifiers, cannot skip Svalin. Lucky Block is exactly what makes this shield special, rare and expensive. If you manage to get it on Aegis or Wrathpith, you are very lucky, but moving the mod away from minus block chance is worth it. Same goes for Azadi Crest. Its triple luck roll modifier makes gladiators nearly immortal. If the resulting shield is better than the original, it is a win. Coward's Veil is a relatively new unique and has a very unique property. When your totems die, they remain spectral, invulnerable, but still deal damage, and the independent from the maximum totem limit. Should be a decent option for bossing or difficult content. The Eternal Apple comes with a downside: the shield makes you unable to block. Getting around it can be a significant advantage, making the Warcry automation even better. Alternatively, you can move Red Blade Banner's infinite Warcry power onto Apple and enjoy very powerful and automated Warcries. That's all I have for you today. What combinations and items do you think have a potential to improve builds or enable new ones? Or maybe I missed something. Please let me know. Have a fun league start, exciting Legion results, and take care!